thank you to Ruth Dickler. Now we would like to present an award that, for many of us is sort of the favorite part of our lunch, which remembers our friend and colleague, Ibo Balton.
Good afternoon. We're really presenting the Ibo Balton Award because everybody who knew Ibo loved him. Ibo was a planner. If you ever came to a Community Board 10 meeting, you would have seen that his ardent zeal could match that of the toughest community member who wasn't sure whether the proposed project was really in the community's best interest. He really had a love of his job, of planning. I can only mention Charlotte Street in the Bronx and the transition that occurred there. And even with all that has happened with the financial crisis and the housing crisis, Ibo's planning is a part of what has Harlem still pretty much holding its own. Ibo was definitely not shy. You can certainly remember his voice as he was willing to argue a particular point on planning. And we really want this award to continue to keep his ideas alive. It's for planning, and it's also for realizing those plans and making communities livable communities. I'd also like to, as they say, give a shout out to Mayor Michael Nutter and call from the Green from the Philadelphia Housing Authority who have joined us. I have to say, when I go to Philly, I see that the minority populations, they have some beautiful homes in Philly. I don't know if we have fully replicated that yet. I'd also like to advise everyone that while this award is continuing to salute Ibo, Monadnock and Bill Traylor, the Richmond Group, and the Richmond Group are building Ibo's Place at 127th Street and St. Nicholas Avenue, so we will have a continuing memory of Ibo.
As Lucy so eloquently pointed out, every year we get together to honor Ibo's memory. And it sort of makes us step back and see how much of his vision and his dream have come to fruition. If you go in Harlem today, you can't help but be struck by how many of the vacant shells and vacant lots that Ibo was so concerned about have come to life and are now vibrant places to live. And I can't think of a better way to honor his memory than to give recognition to someone who's so instrumental in making this vision become reality. Joan Tally not only is an expert in finance and has an understanding of the nuances and the challenges of providing financing for affordable housing, she is also always cognizant of the ultimate goal, which is to provide a decent place for New Yorkers to live in. So it's a pleasure working with you, Joan Tally, for the past 10 years. Keep up the good work, and we all look forward to working with you for many years to come.
I'm going to add my 2 cents and make it brief since there are 3 of us making this award. But I want to recognize Ibo, but also recognize what Ibo and what this award stands for, which is the recognition of what we do as an industry and the fact that it can't be done without the help of all the dedicated people in government, which in New York City and New York State is just beyond, it tops in the country. And people like Ibo and like Joan, who work on these complicated projects in both in the planning stages like Ibo did in the finance area like Joan does, are instrumental in getting the housing built and providing as much affordable. I think we're on the city in this administration is coming to its 100,000th affordable unit, which is just an unbelievable number to get done. Even in these times, we're continuing to do that. So Ibo's vision is something that is passed on through the agencies that do the housing work in the city and the state. And we want to recognize Joan for all the great work she's done at HDC, both behind the scenes and up front, in putting very complex financing transactions together that allow people to live in relative comfort and quality housing for low cost rent. Thank you, and we have an award for Joan.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Robert, Ron, Lucille, Geraldine, and everyone at the Citizens Housing and Planning Council. This is a true honor to be recognized, and of course I share it with everybody at the Housing Development Corporation that I've been lucky enough to work with over the last 8 years. There are many of you here today, past and present staff, and I've learned an enormous amount about housing finance and housing policy from each of you, so thanks to all at HDC. And if urban planning is both a process and a product, then we in housing finance are surely on the product side. But we couldn't do what we do. We couldn't know that what we're financing is good for a community without the planners that laid the groundwork, like Ibo did in Harlem, like Ted Weinstein does in the South Bronx. So thanks also to the planners at HPD and at City Planning who undertake the process. I think you surely have the tougher side of the equation. And I think we can all be proud of the resulting product, too, the thousands of housing units that are affordable to people who otherwise wouldn't be able to have their own apartment or to live in our great city. So thanks for this honor.